Welcome to 45 RPENS. Give me a 45 there, Ernie.
45.
45 RPNs. This is season number 2. This is Ernie N's Nigel Bart, and season number 2, episode 1, the first episode of the next year. And this has been a great, successful run we've had of doing, we've done 16 episodes the first season.
Was it 16?
It was 16.
Awesome.
Yeah, then I got 2
cool.
still coming, so they're kind of overlapping a bit.
Oh, nice. Nice. I haven't even listened to most of them, but
Yeah, they're remarkably interesting. They're
much
so cool.
yeah.
And some of our fan base are really giving us good comments on YouTube,
Nice.
where they're posted. YouTube under Nigel Bart. And they're totally shareable and downloadable. So today is Friday, the October 21st.
Yep.
And we are talking about, we're going to focus on conversation about Manitoba, Winnipeg-based artists, musical artists. And our conversation is inspired by a conversation and more of a presentation Ernie and I watched or were a part of here in Carmen from John Enerson. John Enerson is local, but he's also internationally renowned, historian, music buff, music historian, and he's written some awesome books. The one he was selling there at his talk was Shaken All Over. That was the one. There's one, I know he had that one, Shaken All Over, or was it Shaken?
I think it might have been.
Well, that's the one he pulled out, I think.
Yeah.
That
that's
big
the one
one.
he had along for sale, I think.
Yeah. But he's done a few of them.
Yeah.
He's up to
I have a different one that's strictly Manitoba that he does, and it's really cool.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe brought it today, or did I? don't know.
Oh, maybe he brought it.
Maybe you have it here.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have it along, but it's strictly Manitoba. It's really good.
It's so good. And so what, our focus is always musical. Okay, this is where I rewind a second and I say music, collecting, and whatever in between. Ernie and my conversations are always interesting. Ernie brings the art history element, the art collector history. And of course, I bring an artist, sometimes I can be, think outside the box. Sometimes I take an obscure angle on an idea and run with it. I'm a poet too, so.
Well, that's the artist in you, I guess.
Yeah. That's what I think makes our conversations interesting. And I was also thinking that sometimes when you and I talk, we really get philosophical, and I think it's someone was saying who listened to those comments said he loved them because it seemed like he was just sitting in a kitchen conversation between two people.
Yeah, my stuff is usually more informational. Yours is deep. Your stuff is deep. Talk about.
But at least we always like find the common ground somehow.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about the music, eh?
Yeah. So you're wearing an awesome Guess Who t-shirt that you made.
I made it,
You photographed each element, which it includes the albums, the 45s, the tapes, and Share the Land, Guess Who album, box set. Everything is on there.
Yeah.
The 8-track, the cassette tape, the
CD, the 45, and the LP.
It's amazing, man.
And then on the front.
Now, if you want some of the swag, the merchandise, in the front as well, it's got the actual vinyl.
It's got the 45 out of the package with the little yellow center.
Yeah.
It's got the 8-track pulled out of the case with the yellow. It's a US version.
That's too good. That's too
and
good.
then the cassette, and of course, it's a cassette, and then the CD, and then the vinyl on RCA, just the orange RCA label. It wasn't Nimbus yet. Nimbus was before that, I guess, but
it's so pop culture. I love it.
I know.
I love it. It's just
so
shiny.
awesome.
You just vibrate with that on.
Like the Guess Who would probably.
Yeah.
You know, they would shun this because
Yeah.
you know, and it's all copyrighted stuff. But I don't make it for anybody but myself.
Oh, it's not. I don't think that is a copyright infringement. Like when you use imagery of something.
I don't know, but I made one for myself, and
Yeah.
I wear it because I own all these things. So you try not to cross that line, you know.
No, I think direct
Yeah.
digital representation of music or using someone else's photograph.
Yeah. You know, I often wonder if Burton Cummings would see this.
He'd love it.
Yeah.
I think he'd love it.
He'd probably ask me to make one for him, and
I would think he would.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome, anyway.
It's beautiful. And if anyone wants one of these beautiful shirts, I'm sure Ernie would. You'd make one for him.
I probably would. I mean, I don't do it on those bases where I can do it for people, but if somebody loved this album, that was their favorite album in the world, I'd probably give them this shirt, you know.
Well, yeah, reach out and we could hook you up with some merchandise if you're interested. Now, what I was gonna say, what are we gonna look at? Sorry, I ate a big block of cheese today, Ernie, and I got a little bit of a stomachache, a little indigestion. And I might have to get up and walk a bit too because I have a really bad sciatic nerve thing going. You know, I was thinking of John Enerson and some of the bands there. He was very so knowledgeable and so current.
Yeah.
And some of those music acts. Not only does he go way back in history, he goes right up to. These new artists who are coming out of Manitoba.
Yeah, he's very good at what he does. He's just excellent. His information is just over the top. Like, he knows everything about everybody, and he's met them all, and you know, and he shows pictures of him and Randy Bachman arm in arm and stuff like that. And so he's met everybody, and he knows how to write a book too. I don't know if you've read any of his stuff. I read this book.
Oh, American Woman.
I've read this book, and it's John Enerson. It's called American Woman. Yeah. And it's just the story of the Guess Who is what it's called. And, and I started to read this, and I couldn't put it down. I take it with me when I would go on trips with the company I was working with. I did a lot of road work. I could hardly wait to get back in the motel in the evening so I could continue reading. And I read it slowly, and I'd read each page or paragraph a couple of times because I wanted to retain what it says. Mind you, so long ago I probably haven't anymore, but really, really good book. And I want to give this book to you. It's right there. You go.
Are you sure?
And now it belongs to you.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? Let's create a little time capsule, 45 RPN. Yeah. Like collecting box, because we've exchanged a few things back and forth. Yeah. I feel it deserves like a lockup sort of box where these merchandise things, like the book that you'll also shared the a couple of albums with me. Yeah. And I feel I'm still holding them, but I feel like we need to almost lock them up.
There's but
I will read it.
In this particular case, like, this is a little bit different than normal. This book, in the sense that. Decades ago, when I was playing at a festival called the Cripple Creek Festival, and it's kind of bluegrass, and I was playing at that, and excuse me, the MC on stage was none other than Al Friesen.
Oh yeah,
from CFAM, right?
Yeah,
Al. And I was talking to him off stage, and we were talking about the Guess Who, and he says, I just read the book. He says, it's really good. John Enerson book. He says, I just read it. It's awesome. He says, and I don't know how we got talking, but he says, I'll send it to you. I'll send you the book. Oh. And I said, well, what do you want for it? Nothing. He says, I've read it. Now I'm done with it. Now that I've read it, I don't need it anymore. He says, I'm going to give it to you. And then he said to me, he says, And when you're done reading it, give it to somebody. This is decades ago. Okay, so now the time has come for me to carry on what he asked me to do. So that book now is yours. So
cool.
But I'll also tell you another little secret that I actually have another copy of it. Since then, I've gotten another copy.
That's good.
I do have another.
You have a hard copy, leather bound.
No, it's same as this, but it's autographed by Ian.
Oh my gosh, that's sweet, man.
And so, but I mean,
there's an autograph in there. No, there wasn't.
Pass that one.
So sweet.
That's your
man.
book.
Thank you, Ernie.
And if you're
awesome,
done,
man. That is such a good thing. You're carrying on the Jedi tradition, the collector Jedi tradition.
But that book is just truly, really, really good.
Thank you.
Good reading. He knows how to write a book.
That's so awesome. It was. Well, thank you, Ernie. And I'm going to be reading this. It'll give a lot of fuel for more of our conversations.
And another thing about that book, I think I mentioned this in another podcast where I met Bill Wallace. I don't know if you remember that story? I think in a podcast I talked about it where I met Bill Wallace. He was playing in the local bar here, and I went in there to watch him. And when he sat down on his break, I went and talked to him. Yeah, I think I told you this story.
You did. Go ahead.
And then he said to me, he says, "Are you going to be here for the next break?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I'm staying for the show, And he says, "Okay, then." So anyway, he goes up because it was just about time for him to get back on. And so he went up and did the next set. And he came back and sat down like he said, and then him and I talked. And he said to me, he says, I played on the last 4 Guess Who albums. And I said, and because I had just finished reading this book, I said to him, well, actually, you were on the last 5 albums. And he looked at me, and I named them all in a row. Like this. And then, you're right. He said, you're right, it's 5 albums. Oh. So now I had his attention. So he took me outside in his Astro van and he played songs for me that his band, that was his band that he played in at the time.
Oh, Brother.
Brother was the name of the band that he played with. And that CD has like 2 songs on it.
Oh my
and that's all they ever put out. It's all they ever recorded, as far as I know. But they wrote Hand Me Down the World and Bus Rider and all this stuff. And he played me their versions, the Brother versions of those songs. And dare I say, they were as good or better than the Guess Who.
Wow.
Excellent songs.
What a photo on the back of the guys there, eh?
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah, so that's Bill Wallace. That's Van. Oh, it says the name. Okay, so you know.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's a wild picture. They look so animated. These characters. Yeah, it's probably great. So this was probably a hard one to find, eh? This was their original.
Very hard. I don't even remember how I got it. I think I got it at Argy's Collectibles in Winnipeg. I think that's where I got it.
So cool.
And so, but I mean, getting back to Enerson, John Enerson, he talked about all these Winnipeg bands, extensively.
Yeah.
And the information that man had was just really good. And something else I know it's 45s. I have something very interesting. But here, I'll give you you can just kind of read this if you want. And this I should lend to you. This I wouldn't give you. This is worth its weight in gold, this one.
Oh my gosh, don't. Just hold on to it, is what I'm saying. I get that generosity. I get impulsive generosity myself. And you got to hold on to it, man.
No, you're not getting this one.
That's good. That's good. Say no.
This is called Every Song Tells a Story. And it was a tour that he went on. And
is that a real ticket in there?
That's a real ticket.
Stub?
That's my ticket.
Oh, so cool, Ernie.
So when was that? When was it?
2003, October 17th. That was just a couple of days ago, basically. And that was a Friday. And what did the 17th fall on? I think this year it was a Sunday. But yeah, that was Randy Bachman. Every song tells a story.
And what he did, what that means is every song, he told a story about why it was written or how it was written, all that. And he did the song. And he had, I think he had Colin Arthur Weeb with him on that tour. And then Colin would sing all the Burton Cumming parts, like Undone. And all that stuff. And so it's just really interesting story. Well, if you ever listen to Randy Bachman's vinyl tapping, that's pretty awesome stuff. And
right.
And it's essentially that's what it was. He told a story about every song how it came to be and that sort of thing. So it's just,
now, are these stories they're telling, or is this the music?
it's both. It's
So
both. He
cool.
talks about the song, and then they play it.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
that's
it's
so
a very
awesome.
good. It's a very good. He does. He has Prairie Town on here, which is a song off his other album. He has another album called Survivor. That's what it's called.
Okay.
I think it's off of that album. And then so No Sugar Tonight, New Mother Nature, and New Mother Nature was actually a Burton Cummings song. This was a Bachman song. That was a Cummings song. So, and then they put them together there. And see, you see, they put them together like that.
Yeah.
And then Undone, of course, was kind of spawned from Lenny Breau. Like we've talked about Lenny Breau with the guitarist. Randy Bachman would go to Lenny's house. He'd sometimes skip out of school and go to Lenny's house, or at lunchtime he'd go to Lenny's house because this young kid, Lenny Breau, was just phenomenal guitar player. So Randy was go to his place and then he would watch him and learn from him. And Undone, he says, Undone came from watching Lenny do some just regular routine, guitar exercises or runs or
Scales,
preludes or endings or whatever you want to call it. There was a sequence of notes. He'd watch him do that, and he learned to play that stuff, and he used it in his songs. See, he was good at writing, like very good at writing.
Very neat.
And then Lenny was, a master on the guitar. Yeah. So he kind of had the best of both worlds. I mean, he was destined to be a success, with the talent he had of songwriting and all that stuff. And then Let It Ride, how that happened, and These Eyes, how that happened. So I know every one of those stories because I've listened to this and laughing. They pushed it out because These Eyes was such a big hit. They pushed that one out because they need to follow that with something,
Oh my gosh.
So they pushed that one out and they had to throw something on the flip side. So they threw Undone on it. And then some guy in New York flipped it over and Undone was a hit. And, so this is the stories he tells on here.
That's amazing.
And then he goes a little bit into BTO here, his four-wheel drive. And then No Time has a little bit of a history too. It was put out on Canned Wheat, I think. They put it out. And then I don't know if it really did much then. They re-released it in a new recording, changed it a little bit on American Woman, and it was a hit. So I'm not sure what the exact story is there. And then there's some BTO stuff here. Hey You and Looking Out for Number One. You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. And this was like one of their biggest hits ever. Is You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. He stuttered. He stuttered in a song. He had a brother that stuttered, so he wrote a song like that. And Take Care of Business, of course, that's world renowned song.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Shaking All Over, that's how they started.
Wow.
And yeah.
So interesting.
But and in between the Guess Who and BTO, there was a little bit of a time span in there.
Yeah.
That was his band then.
Right, Brave Belt, of course. Yeah. Well, look at this cover of the album. Is this the first album of theirs?
That's the first one. Yeah.
They look great, man. They're wearing these buffalo bison jackets and sheepskin bison or sheepskin leather. It's just awesome. They got the old school caps. And they're just beards and long hair. They look super cool.
Yeah.
What a great cover.
That's
cover
a
art.
Great picture. And and I have that album in a different cover altogether. So it came out in a couple of covers or something.
Yeah.
And
so cool, man.
I'm not sure why. And then
this is a double CD or a double record. There's two of them in there. I think there's two.
I think there's just one in there.
Oh, it's just that.
Oh, it's that double thing because I probably put the other one in here.
Oh,
This is your other one here. They put both in one, I guess, because the other one has a picture like.
Okay.
I don't have it along actually, but the other album is a picture of just like a leather pouch thing like this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure what it's for carrying records. I have no idea.
I was going to mention that just on a side note. Promoting an album or a 45 or like a brand new. Yeah. And a lot of, I know this might, I don't want it to take us off course and we'll just carry on your thing, but I just want to say how important it is. These promotional packages are for artists, like to get them done artistically done. It's not the whole package, but artists think about how they release their albums and it's not just like what I was going to say was it's not really only like the look of a technology is a big part of like its collectible value is a big part of how the industry has always moved. I think like, past the, selling the 45s, the vinyl, the albums, the tapes, cassettes were a big thing. And even like you say, like the 8 tracks and the CDs were definitely a iconic sort of merchandise.
And
but I think
nowadays, nowadays like the cassettes are like they're back in. They're like really cool to have those things.
They are.
But you're right. The whole album itself is artwork on the front. It's artwork on the back. The inside, the sleeve, the record itself, and then the record, of course, is artistically, musically, it's artistic. But the cover and everything, like there's so much art goes into one record. And then you have the 45s that come off of that. So it's a real labor of love.
It is. Not to take you off course there, but I just wanted to mention how, as people think that musicians are not sort of artistically inclined, but the whole art of music is such an artistic business that you, for artists like the Foo Fighters, for example, or like the Guess Who or whoever these artists are, each album comes out with a whole bunch of like artwork, like visual art and packaging and all sorts. So it's
so much in there too. Like you take an album and you have this beautiful artwork, and you have this, and then the vinyl process is very intriguing. How the vinyl music goes onto vinyl and all that stuff. But all these songs are written by people all this music is written by people that have a lifelong experiences behind them. And they take all those experiences and they compile them on a record of a lot of these experiences. And and depending on when they're written or how they're written, certain moods go into it. So there's so much goes into a piece of music. And then you get all the artwork with it. So
it's just collaborative, I'd say. Like it's like it's an industry where you like it's film, but it's similar.
It's an art masterpiece
in every
sense.
Yes, agreed.
Like you look at a painting on a Picasso or something. It's a masterpiece.
That's right.
These are masterpieces too, when you think of what's in there.
You're right. You're right.
And you get, here's a little bit of more BTO. This not, but they're Union. That's another Randy Bachman band.
Oh my gosh, Fred Turner.
Yeah, Fred Turner and Randy Bachman are both in Union, and so they had one song on the radio a little bit.
So awesome.
And there was right there, another band, another one of his bands, Iron Horse. It's another one Randy Bachman band.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're called Iron Horse.
Holy smokes.
And so, I got a whole whack of 45s here of all Winnipeg stuff. And that's just something I grabbed.
How's your studio doing? Are you organizing it? Did it take a break over the weekend? I mean, the summer?
Yeah, summer.
The summer, not the weekend. The summer weekend.
It was like a weekend. It's that so fast.
But are you reorganizing it these days? I've been in, I don't know if I mentioned it.
I don't think it changed since you saw it. I still haven't put up the rest of my artwork on the bare walls, and the 45s, I doubt if I've moved them at all, and my crown mold, so to speak.
Well, it's amazing, by the way. Like, if anyone, we might throw a photo or two of them up eventually, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because this Ernie Enz's studio, like his studio collection, it is a studio. It's a music studio, and it's like, it's amazing.
I haven't done any recording in there yet. Recording is something that it just happens one day. All of a sudden, it just happens.
Well, we did do an episode in there, if you can remember. Oh, yes. It was episode 12, I believe, or 11 or 12.
Yeah, we did actually.
It was, it has good acoustics, but it's more to me like a beautiful collection. It's like a museum room that you have.
It's kind of what I'm shooting for, is to make it, when you walk in, it's before you walk in, you see the 8-foot Strat hanging on the wall. Well, it's just a picture of one with Eric Clapton's signature on it. But it's a vinyl, like it's on vinyl, like it's a good quality, but it's just a piece of vinyl. You roll out and put it on the wall, but it's like I've never measured it, but it's got to be at least 7 feet. I'll measure it sometime.
Yeah.
And then I want to do my collages, like my T-shirt here. I want to those boxes. I want to put them on the other side. So I want it to be very much. I don't know. I guess museum or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Feel when you walk in, but everything music, right?
To me, it's almost like a gallery, but you know, like a. What you call those, like a display, but it's like a museum gallery display. Like I almost think you could inspire a lot of people with the idea of like displaying their collections, because going to your collections, they're vast. Like you carry so much history in your archives that it's inspiring.
Yep, there's a lot of stuff up there. And, I'm going to pull up some 45s here.
Nice.
And we're just going to skim over a little bit of all the different bands in Winnipeg. And what I have here is just, maybe half or what it should be, or maybe not even. Like John Anderson covered a vast amount of people in different. We'll skip through some of these.
Yeah.
And here is. There's a lady here, just some of the ones I have. Okay, Iron Horse, that's a Randy Bachman band also. I'm not sure where he fits in the, it's 1980, so it would have fit in after BTO or somewhere in between there somewhere.
Now, what is Scotty Brothers? Is that the trademark?
It must be a record label of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a record label. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with Randy at all. And
I had to learn how to read these because there's a date on there somewhere.
1980. There's always dates on them, seems like.
And it says something from the Scotty Brothers album. Everything is Gray.
Yeah, see, I've never seen the album.
Symphony.
But Iron Horse has a different album. I don't even know what it's called. It's got a picture of a horse on there.
Yeah.
And it's, there's one song on there in particular that I just love. And I can't for the life of me think of.
So cool. Yeah, keep going.
Sheila Dawn, kind of an unknown artist, but that Sunshine Records, that's a very well-known Winnipeg recording studio, and so a lot of people recorded there. So, but I don't really know. And the song "Old Paint," that's one of the songs we do, like Brenda sings that in the band.
Now, Sheila Dawn is someone local, Winnipegger?
Yeah, it's a Winnipegger.
It's interesting. I was gonna say this. I've been hearing songs that your band has been playing.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird little thing. Maybe it's because some of the recordings are on my phone of our band playing. Like somehow there's a weird thing going with that. Yeah. But I've been hearing these songs that we've been playing on the radio.
Yeah.
And I know they are most of them, but a lot of them are like I just get. And the way you play them is amazing. Like, it's like uncanny.
We do a lot of cover tunes, but we also do a lot of original. You haven't heard my latest song yet.
Well, I will hear it soon. Yeah.
It's an old country song.
Nice.
But the girls, like, I always gauge my stuff by other people, right? Mm-hmm. And the girls love it. They want to learn it and do it again. I'm trying to figure out harmonies, and so we're doing that on the last practice too. And
so good.
Okay, here's a very interesting one. More than 100 years. It's a centennial. It's called a centennial production, recorded at Wayne Finucane Studio, and I've recorded there too in that studio. And more than 100 years, centennial theme, arranged and performed by Elias Schritt and Bell. Look at that. And you know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Steve Bell.
Wow.
That's the band. Wow. He was with Tim Elias and John Schritt. I think they all went to school together.
Yeah.
Or something. So, or I don't know if they did, because I think isn't Steve Bell from Saskatchewan? No, Calgary. I think he's from Calgary.
That's I gotta.
But anyway,
look more
and the flip side is, and this is. It doesn't say year on here, but it says 1882. So I wonder if it was in 1982 that they did this recording.
That's right. I was living in Morden at that time, so it would have been grade 2 for me, but...
Yeah, so interesting record. I never listened to it, or I don't. If I ever did, I can't remember. Yeah. But take a look at it. It's very interesting.
Shorna Boy. I know that Larry Charnoboy. I know him who produced this.
Oh, nice.
And the other person I'm not sure. Paul Sigurdsson looks.
I don't know that name either. No.
Wayne Finucane.
Wayne Finucane Studios. I've recorded there with Judy Reed. She's out of Morden too.
Elias Tristan. I gotta take a listen to this at some point because it's very intriguing to me because I was out in Morden when they had 1982 for that 100-year centennial.
Yeah, so it might be an idea to have a turntable here, and then in between we can play stuff like that because I have all kinds of stuff like that. Here's do you know this band, Double Eagle? Double Eagle Band.
I've heard of these guys.
Yeah, they're Portage Prairie, and they eventually, some of them, I don't know if it spawned Doc Walker, I think. I don't know if it did or not. I shouldn't say that without knowledge, but
I think that's what perhaps it came from John Enerson, something like that.
It's
like
somehow
a lead-in sort of band.
Maybe. Almost seems to me like Doc Walker is connected with Double. I saw Double Eagle live. I saw them live. They opened for Conway Twitty in Morden, and I don't know what year that was either. And I'm not really a Conway Twitty fan per se.
Yeah.
But I went for Double Eagle, and they were awesome. And I remember the guy, the fiddle player in Double Eagle. He had a blue violin, crazy good.
Do you know the musicians in Doc Walker?
If I heard the names, I'd probably know them, but I can't off the top of my head. No.
And what year were? I'm asking a million questions here.
Is that?
What year was this one made?
I don't know.
I'm trying to find that, but
it should show it somewhere, like in that
it's really fine.
Right underneath in the fine print, like that.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in there. But yeah, it's something we could look into. I can't see it right now.
Really good song. When enough is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome. So that's the 45.
Very neat.
And then here, Dr. Music, and the connection here is to Manitoba. Dr. Music is not a Winnipeg band or anything, but there's a lady from a girl from Portage Prairie called Laura Ward. She sang with Dr. Music. She was part of this band, and Dr. Music was a I don't know how many people were in it, 20 people or something. It was like a big band, orchestra, not orchestra, but so the singing is just really good.
Okay.
Sun Goes By, that was a radio hit. You'd recognize it if you heard it. Yeah, and so the connection there is Laura Ward from Portage Prairie.
Cool.
And she also sang with Terry Black. Terry Black and Laura Ward had a song called Road to LA. And that was a radio song. That was a radio hit. So it's just a connection it has. Like Dr. Music, I don't know, I'm not sure where they're from, but they also do One More Mountain to Climb. You know, that's also Dr. Music.
Oh my gosh.
It's a Neil Sedaka song.
So cool, man. What else you got there?
Here's another Iron Horse. So it's
okay. Let's see.
Same album as the other one. Yeah.
Oh, this is sweet. Is this your own packaging? An actual? Look at that. Isn't that sweet?
That's the way I buy them.
That's really cool.
When I go to those record shows and
smart packaging. It's an actual little.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's almost like a medical chart sort of thing, like collectible medical chart.
I know. It's
awesome. Sweet.
And this is a novelty record. Fight On. Winnipeg, you ever heard the Fight On songs?
I think so. I have. Yeah.
He does Fight On Winter and Fight On Summer. They're both on here.
Oh, so cool, man. I'm just standing as we talk to my back.
So that's basically just a novelty record. But to have the 45, I think is pretty rare.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. The guy's name is
Adrian O'Neill.
Yeah, Alden Deal.
Alden.
Deal.
Deal. Oh, let's see. Alden Dial.
I don't know.
It's a strange name. Maybe.
Yeah. And here one of my favorite songs on the planet is by a band called Scrubble O'Kane. They're Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And they, I think that connection there with the Guess Who would be Jim Cale.
Okay.
I think the bass of the Guess Who played with these guys. And this Henry Small, I don't know. I wish I knew more about this stuff, but this Henry Small on here went on to something else, Trooper maybe, or not Trooper, but
Journey.
No, Mike Reno, Loverboy.
Loverboy.
I think they went on to Loverboy, but I'm not totally sure about that. It's just so long since I've looked at any of this stuff. But this song, "Feeling Good on Sunday," is one of my all-time favorite songs in the world. It's really good. It's got really nice finger style or guitar, and then he's blowing on the harp here like this.
Oh, so good.
It's really good, yeah. So Scrubble O'Kane, remember that name? That's a
Scrubble O'Kane.
Yeah, I got it on here if you ever want to listen to them.
Yes, we will.
And then here, Terry Jacks, of course, he's a Winnipeg-born boy, and he had the big song in '69, "Which Way You Goin', Billy?" Oh, and that was actually from a theme song from the movie Billy Jack, I think it was called.
Oh.
"Which Way You Goin', Billy?" And Susan sang it, of course. And this record is from 1969. This is 1969 record.
Cool.
"Which Way You Goin', Billy?" And that was a big hit. That was one of the, my first songs. Like when I started listening to radio, these were the songs that got me into music.
Right.
Stuff like that from 68 and 69. And here is none other than Neil Young.
Oh my gosh, that's a cool album.
But he sings,
getting in. That's an '80s sort of.
Yeah,
50s, 80s.
This would be middle '80s, I'm guessing, but I'll read it here in a second.
Sweet.
83.
Wow, man.
This is 83, and this song, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is the only song he sang in this style. It was just a different style than anything else he did.
It's experimental too.
It was called his band called the Shocking Pinks.
Oh, cool.
And the song was called "Wonderin'."
So neat.
Yeah, that we'll give a listen to sometime too. That's a very unique song.
I can see
it doesn't fit any of his other styles.
No, it's totally different.
Totally, yeah. And then we got
another Sunshine album there.
Another Sunshine Records album, but this is Wholesome Bluegrass.
Oh.
Wholesome Bluegrass. They were a band and they were one of the first bluegrass bands to inspire me. To learn. Play bluegrass. These guys are local boys. They're from Winkler Morden area.
Okay.
And I bought this record off of the girl that wrote this song. There was a girl in the band called Betty Hebert, and I bought this record off of her out of the trunk of her car.
Nice.
And so they were like one of the best bluegrass bands in the history of the world. I'm not kidding.
I know.
They're local boys, and they were just so good. There was a guitar player. I'm trying to think of their names now. There was the banjo player was Alvin Elias. One of the singers was Betty Hebert. There was a Henry Weeb. I think Henry Weeb played mandolin. And the guitar player was, who was it? It's just crazy good. I can't even think of his name now.
Very interesting. They're from like Morden Winkler area?
Yeah.
Is that where they're from?
Yeah, and then
a lot of good bluegrass.
Yeah, and his singing voice was perfect bluegrass.
Yes.
Like this lead guitar. Oh man, why can't I think of his name?
It'll come. We'll look it up. We'll look
it
up later.
Yeah, we'll look it up sometime. Later, but Wholesome Bluegrass, Sunshine Records. So those are local boys. And then we got Country Tigers. They're from Riverton, I believe.
Oh, cool.
So that's just up the road. And
speaking
of Riverton, what's the time now? Hour and a half. My wife's heading to Calgary. She's driving to Calgary right now.
Is she? Oh, she's on the road.
She's on the road. She left an hour and a half ago.
Oh, my gosh.
She won't be up to Riverton quite.
Oh, yeah.
She'll still be on this side of Brandon. But so I'm batching it for the weekend. Anyway.
Awesome, man.
To get back to these guys. The Country Tigers. That's what they're called. The Country Tigers, and they do a song called Good Old Country Songs.
Oh.
And it's just such a great song, I had to buy it. And it looks like it's autographed on this side. So I bought it used, but I mean, it looks like it's been autographed, doesn't it? Or
It does. Let me see.
it kind of looks like an autograph more than an
that looks like an autograph.
An older owner would put their name on there. That looks like an autograph. Like you can't read it, right? So
you're right. So it's like Terry Kuzik or Thomas Kuzik.
Yeah.
That's the artist.
So and then here is Dublin Corporation. That's Winnipeg band.
Yeah.
And they had a really good song called Melting Pot. And that's not the song I'm thinking of. They had Melting Pot was a good song, but they had a song called, and I think I have that one along too. It's called Come and Join Us. Oh. And it was a radio hit. Like this Melting Pot, I don't think was. I think it was on radio, but I don't think it was ever a hit. Okay. But the Come and Join Us was, and that was that was a.
If that wasn't me.
That was a Marmalade song from England. I think a band called Marmalade did a song called Cousin Norman.
Okay.
And they changed the title to Come and Join Us, but it was still the same song.
Yeah.
So, but and then we got, what else we got here? How much time we got left?
We got 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay.
5 minutes, and I think we're.
You want to keep going on this subject here?
Well, maybe yeah. We'll slow down a bit, maybe. Like I think you've. Well, what? Let's because you have like I think you have an amazing collection here, and it's local. And it's Manitoba. It's local, homegrown.
Yeah.
And you know, if people want to find a list of this, perhaps I think we could. You know, what would you think of listing? Like, you probably have it typed up somewhere, a list.
No, I don't.
You don't think?
No, I don't. But
no. Keep going then. See, like these are sort of
these, for instance, here. If you look at this one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Rianne Paxton.
Yeah.
That song we do in our band. Actually, this song.
Oh, sweet.
Shadows of Love. Where is it? Shadows of Love.
Yeah.
We do that in our band. Brenda sings that.
Nice.
And we'll have to pull that one up again. We haven't done it for a while.
Yeah.
But this here is Judy Reed out of Morden.
Oh, yeah.
And I played in her band in the early 80s.
Huh.
She had studio guys do all this stuff, like studio guys as in, maybe I can find some names on here.
Was Judy Reed a teacher at any time?
No.
No, different.
No, she produced by Mike Reed, and I think that's where she got her name. She changed the words or the spelling of it a little bit. And Craig Fotheringham also produced on here, and he's a name. He's a well-known name in the music circles in Winnipeg. It's Craig Fotheringham. And this song is "Crazy for Loving You" was her hit on here, and it was a hit. Locally, I'm not sure what it did or how far it went, but it hit #1 on a Dauphin radio station.
Okay.
A song called "Crazy for Loving You." And it was done by Judy Reed. And after she had put out these 245s, she put out this and "One Step at a Time" with Got a Crazy Feeling.
Yeah.
Got a Funny Feeling. And then here's "Got Crazy for Loving You," She'll Have to Go. And so after she put out those 45s, she put together a band.
Oh,
and she phoned me. I remember the phone call. We were living, Cheryl and I were just married. It was like 1980. We were just married. And I get this phone call from this Menno Hebert.
Oh, yeah.
And that was Judy Reed's husband.
Oh, okay.
And her real name is Judy Hebert. So that was her stage name. So Menno Hebert calls me. And he says, we're putting together a band. And we got your name from another guitar player said that phone this guy, and so that's how I got your name, and so we're put together a band. And I thought, I've been out of music I quit playing, I think for 8 years at that point.
Yes, I
had quit music altogether. I hadn't played.
Yeah.
And I thought, now that I'm married, settled down, maybe I should get back into it.
Nice.
And so I did. I said, okay, I'm going to come down.
Yeah.
So I ended up playing with them for a few years, and it was a really good experience.
Nice.
And so we took these songs on the road and did a little bit of touring, and so it was really cool. And so yeah, this has a special place in my heart is this Judy Reed.
Sweet. We got like 20 seconds left.
Okay, you want to wrap it up?
So I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you, Ernie. Like this is like honestly, you have such an eclectic collection, but also an immense knowledge of each.
Well,
and a very colorful knowledge of each album. You know, they all like all these lines are crossing in a way. It's like a big mosaic of color. And thank you so much for unpacking that. Like these, you know, you're a very good explainer, and it's very visual, and yeah. So thanks, Ernie. This is we're wrapping her up now. 45 RPNs, episode 1, season 2. Hope you guys have enjoyed that as much as we did, and we're gonna catch you on the flip side on the next week. So
yeah, thank you very much, Nigel, and keep on rocking.
Keep on rocking in the free world, like
in the free world,
like Elvis Presley said, right? No.